everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be running through some of my most anticipated book releases for the rest of 2026. This year has been relentless. It has been non-stop 5-star after 5-star for brilliant new fantasy romance releases, but I still think there's a bunch more to come, so here are a bunch I am really looking forward to that you might want to add onto a pre-order list. Before I dive in, hello if you're new here, my name is Becca. I am feral for a bit of fantasy romance. You could call me a fantasy romance gremlin. So make sure to subscribe if you are also a lover of books, because I am here for you every Sunday with a brand new video full of fantasy romance recommendations. Let's dive into today's stack. There's quite a few genres in here actually, so I'm saying fantasy romance, but there's some others thrown in. Let's just dive in. You still want these book recs, trust me. Up first is a brand new release from one of my favourite all-time ever authors. I love their work. I've read everything they've ever written, I think. And that is Winter Veil by Ava Reid. If you've read any Ava Reid, I would absolutely love to know what your favourite Ava Reid title is in the comments below. Do let me know, because I feel like every single thing I read from her is so completely different. My personal favourite from Ava Reid is actually either A Study in Drowning or Fable for the End of the World. Fable for the End of the World I think is the most underrated Ava Reid book. And this one kind of feels like the perfect combination between A Study in Drowning and its juicy dark academia vibes and the like dystopian romance element of Fable for the End of the World. This is like the baby that those two books had. I've spoken quite a lot about dystopian this year. It's certainly a genre that I am loving diving back into, especially because I loved like the Hunger Games when I was younger, as we all did. Fable for the End of the World is up there with one of my favourite dystopians I've read recently. So when Ava Reid announced they'd written another one, I was immediately hyped. This one looks to be jam-packed with action. It's actually set at an academy for like the brightest young criminals. We have an expert soldier with an enigmatic past and a dangerous secret, a former pageant queen with a talent that could change the world. I'm interested to see what that could be. A disgraced politician from a powerful American dynasty, and a coldly brilliant strategist who will sacrifice anything to win. I love a cutthroat, bloodthirsty world, and that is what this is giving me. I always love Ava Reid's particular brand of romance in the books that they write that are more romantic, and I think this is going to have a bit of that in there. But also something else I loved in Ava Reid's other dystopian title was kind of largely around its commentary on the world, particularly climate. So I'm interested to see what dystopian elements they're playing with in this one. This one definitely seems more technological. I'm not sure. Obviously, I haven't read this yet, but this is super high up on my list. If you've never read any Ava Reid, you could still absolutely dive in with this one if this one sounds like a bit of you. But if you want to do some prerequisite reading, I absolutely would recommend both the titles that I've mentioned, or basically anything else written by Ava. This one is out in September, so not too long to wait. And I haven't seen any special editions of this one yet, I don't think, but I'm really happy to see what we might be getting in the special edition market. Next up is a paranormal or supernatural romance circa Bride by Ali Hazelwood that I'm so excited to dive into, and this is Alma Vampires by Elena Armas. This is dark academia, but kind of more contemporary style romance with bloodthirsty vampires. The whole vibe of this book, from the cover art I've seen to like all the bits of information I've seen from Elena on this one, it just looks like my dark academia college romance dream. This is a college romance with billionaires and vampires, and I feel like Bride by Ali Hazelwood unlocked something within me. I'd always enjoyed contemporary romances, particularly more like academia-based or STEM-based contemporary romances, and I'd always enjoyed like wolf shifters and vampires. I had never ever thought I would enjoy reading them in some concoction of the two, but the fact that this looks to be, you know, of the same genre, I can't wait to dive into this. I have read some Elena Armas in the past, like The Spanish Love Deception, and absolutely adored that. So the second I saw this announced, this has been on my list to get to. This is out in November. I'm probably going to read this one a little bit earlier, like September, October time, just to get me in that dark academia autumnal mood. But if you are starting to put together your autumnal TBR, this one should probably be on there. This one is a standalone from what I understand, but it might be that we get some interconnected books later in this series. And also from what I know about Elena Armas, this is probably also going to be dripping with delicious spice, some sauciness, some tension, some will they, won't they, some they probably shouldn't, but they're going to do anyway. And isn't this the most beautiful proof? The actual finished cover has like gorgeous character art on it. I can't wait to dive into this one. I think if you're a fan of, as I said, like a comparative title for me would be Bride, but also the Rosie Danan like supernatural paranormal romances. If you like those, I think you're going to like these. This just has a bit more of a dark academia twist in there. Up next, and sticking true to my Romantasy lover roots, is, actually I think this was independently published, but it is now coming back out in August, so this one is right around the corner. This is Runebreaker by Ma Finch. This is going to annoy so many of you, but when I first got this, I like just had a little scan through. Sometimes I just like to have a scan, you know, just I pick a random page, I see what the writing style is like, I see what's going on, you know, I like to just have an idea of like, do I need to read this immediately? Can it wait a little bit? This one looks filthy, pure filth, super spicy, super sassy, full of banter. It looks action-packed, it looks really full of thrill and fast-paced, and I've been looking at some reviews of the indie version of this and they are so good. There is also this really delicious art print in the inside of the proof that I'm just obsessed with these two. Let me tell you a little bit about this one. I like the fact this is, I mean, it's in the name, Runebreaker. It's very much tied to like magical runes. I love an intricate magic system, and I can't really think of anything that I've read recently with the element of runes or runic magic. Some of my favourites have included it though, like I love the word marks and the word system from Throne of Glass. I particularly like the look of this male main character, I'm not going to lie to you. He seems shrouded in mystery. He lives in this kingdom with like forests and these glittering castles. And I've heard this one's quite big on its kind of political elements of fantasy as well, which I'm really excited to dive into. This is saucy, it is spicy. From some of the excerpts that I've read, it is excellently so, like super duper steamy. But also there seems to be this banter and this humour between the main characters that I really, really absolutely love. It reminds me a little bit of the relationship between Kingfisher and Ceres in Quicksilver, and that's one of my favourite fantasy romances. So I think I'm really going to enjoy this. This looks like the kind of fantasy romance I want to read when I'm in the mood for like a good time, a bit of fun, something thrilling and full of action and really just entertaining. This is probably what I'm going to gravitate towards. This is out really soon. I don't know, you guys. You could definitely get this one pre-ordered immediately. I just saw the word Neil. Oh my. I have actually pre-ordered the Locked Library edition of this, which was beautiful. I think that's out of stock now, but definitely keep an eye out in case they do any more stock or in case there's any other special editions of this on the market. But that one was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I love the way they had like runes in spot UV, so when you moved it, they kind of shimmered. Gorgeous, stunning. Whoever designed that, incredible work. And I think maybe want to keep an eye on for the book boxes as well. This one would make a really good Romantasy pick for some of those subscription boxes that we all love. Okay, next up is one that I'm kind of cheating on because I have read this one, but it comes out in September and I really loved it. So I'm putting it on the list because it is one of my most anticipated releases and I've only recently read it. So it's Kiss of the Black Flame by Helen Scheurer. Look, I'm a Helen Scheurer fan. I can't even say that. I'm a Helen Scheurer stan and I will not apologise for it. This one was fantastic. This was quite different from Blood and Steel, but in a way that I really enjoyed. Like the elements of Blood and Steel that I loved, I still found that in the writing style here. But this was a completely new story. You don't have to have read anything by Helen before to dive into it. Let me just pretend I haven't read this. This was obviously really highly anticipated for me because I love the author. But actually one of the main draws from this for me is that the female main character seems to be at a slightly different stage in life than we often see in Romantasy. Our female main character is 35, I believe. I'm not 35, but I'm definitely closer to 35 than I am to 18. So it feels quite nice to read something that has a female main character that's maybe at a similar life stage to me. Look, I don't mind a 16-year-old and a boyfriend saving the world. I love a book with a 16-year-old and a boyfriend doing the most. I don't mind when they're like 21 or 18 and they're just like suddenly so talented. Hey, power to you. But there was just something about this. It was a real Grumpy versus Sunshine. It had a real moment of like authenticity in the romance, in the love story. Like, it's still a fantasy book. The fantasy elements were incredible in this. It was slightly darker. He has slutty little man glasses that I was absolutely bought in for. And the female friendships in this book are absolutely to die for. If you like female love, friend love, female friendships, this is absolutely going to be for you. And it really reminded me of the way like I joke about the old days. You know, the old days of being 21 with my friends as well. I think this one's going to be huge. Get this pre-ordered if you haven't already. There is a couple of gorgeous editions around on the market already. I feel so lucky and I'm going to treasure this, the fact that I got to read this early. But if I hadn't read it yet, because I did literally finish this the other week, it would be on this list anyway as one of my most anticipated releases, knowing that Helen writes the most beautifully intricate fantasy worlds with the most gorgeous steamy romance alongside it. It's two of my favourite things. I love everything she's written so far that I've read. This is absolutely up there as well for me. Next up is a book that I do not have in my hands, but I can't wait for it to release. I actually don't know when this one releases. It's soon, I think, but it's not out yet. It's Cursed City by Kate Golden. This is, I think, the only sequel on this list. This is a sequel to Half City, which is one of my favourite books of the whole year. And that is the main reason this is my most anticipated read. Oh my god, the ending of book one has just set me up in this space where I'm like, I need more. I need to know where they go next. I need this adventure that this book is giving me. This is a dark academia-esque, urban fantasy-esque, spicy Shadowhunters and Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of vibes. And I ate this up. This is actually the book that really got me back into being interested in more urban fantasy titles, which I used to love when I was much younger, and I don't know why I don't read them as much nowadays. This had one of those endings where you end it and you're like, I feel like I know what's going to happen next, but like, I need to be told. I need to be told, like, I know where this is going and it sounds incredible. Give it to me. I don't know, maybe I was like thrown at the ending. I feel like because I've read a lot of fantasy romance, I know where this is going and it's going to be so good. But maybe I don't. Maybe we're going to get a full 180. Kate, are you full 180ing us? Maybe. I love this Demon Hunter, kind of Shadowhunters-esque vibe. I loved the Academy and the Dark Academia styles. I loved our fierce, leather-clad, double dagger-wielding female main character. I loved all of our side characters, the friendship she's developing, the romance that was developing, this element of the forbidden, the magic system, the demonic nature of everything. Like, just chef's kiss. And that ending of book 1. That ending. Book 2 is coming out soon. If you haven't read book 1, please go and do so. It's in my top 5 books of the year so far. It is absolutely incredible. And then please get book 2 pre-ordered. I actually need to go and do that. I don't have a copy of book 2 pre-ordered, and I need to, because I just think this is going to be the best sequel. Up next, we have something a little different for me. This one is a horror pick, but it's from an author that I've been following from a long time. This is The Horrors We Harbour by Emily Cooper. This one, she's actually quite short. She's around the 250 page mark. Now, I don't read a lot of horror, but every now and again I do pick one up and I do really enjoy it. And I do read quite a lot of fantasy with horror elements in it, and I enjoy it. I have had Emily's other book on my list for a while, and then when I saw this one was coming out, I was like, actually, there's something about this lighthouse and this idea of the threat of the sea and like the dangers, like, that just sang to my soul. It's set in this lighthouse where the beam can't go off because it serves as a barrier to protect from like the horrors that live out in the sea. So our main character Gwyn has one job, and that is do not let the light go off. This looks to have some cult horror alongside like the horror and the threat of the monsters and some kind of like blood sacrifices. It looks like a wild ride. The fact this is so short kind of terrifies me. I think it's just going to be so fast paced, and I don't think I'm going to be able to put this down. This is going to be one of those like page turning horrors / thriller feeling kind of things. Like, that is what I'm in the mood for. This comes out in September. I think it's going to be perfect for that kind of like spookier season read. Let me know what you think about this. Have you heard about this one? It's been quite all over my Instagram feed actually, so I'm really looking forward to diving into this, particularly when I'm feeling something a little bit different than my regular genre. I do often like to have a horror on hand or a sci-fi on hand to dive into. So I think I'm going to read this one before it releases. I might actually get onto this after my current read, just because I have to know. I have to know what happens with this cult. And as much as I don't read a ton of horrors, horror gaming is actually my go-to genre of gaming. So I play a lot of like Dead by Daylight. I used to play a lot of Phasmophobia, a lot of the like The Quarry, and oh my god, I can't remember the name of it now. Also like Until Dawn. The other things that are in that kind of Dark Pictures anthology, like Little Hope, I really enjoyed as well, The Man of Medan. So I feel like if I can bring some more horror into my reading, I think this is something I would really love. I don't know why I don't gravitate towards horrors because I do in the rest of my life, but I'm looking forward to this one. It kind of feels like the right kind of creepy and spooky that I need at this time of year. Up next, we have a dark romantasy that I didn't really know much about until recently, but it's now suddenly all I can think about. It's Under the Iron Sky by A.T. Emerald. I get the impression this one is a little bit of a dystopian-y, sci-fi kind of fantasy romance. I've heard this is definitely quite dark. I absolutely love a dark fantasy, and it's been a while since I've read one. So this is going to be something I'm looking forward to getting into. Hearing the author talk about her idea for this and like how she came up with it was kind of wild. I think it's set in this world where the government have put up an iron sky to basically block out all of the light, and she was talking about how the world slowly started to come together in her head and like why would they do that and what does that mean for the everyday people and like who's to gain from this. And honestly, I love something that's a little dystopian, a little bit political leaning. Like, this looks like it's going to be delicious. This has a kind of enemies to lovers where they're on opposite sides of a war or opposite sides of a battlefield as well, or where they're like literally sworn political enemies, which, look, I could do with a bit of that in my life right now. I don't know why this kind of reminds me of To Cage a Wild Bird. It's nothing like that. Maybe something to do with like this the rings of people in To Cage a Wild Bird in the sky. I don't know. Visually, this is kind of feeling similar to me, and that was a book that I loved. And I also love the fact in this we have this, like, I've said this before, you've heard me say this before, it has this brutal, gritty, dark, bloody, gory world that is so difficult to survive, and it has that warrior archetype female main character that I love to read. So this, right up there. I'm so sorry I didn't know this existed. I feel like everybody was raving about this, and then just about 2 weeks before I managed to get my hands on this proof, I found it and was like, oh my god, that sounds like everything I would love. And then all I've seen for the past few weeks is people reading and loving this, saying it is really dark, so just a warning for that if you're going in. I do think this is a darker on the dark scale, but I'm so excited to have this. I didn't realise until the other day as well, the proof accidentally says Under the Iron Sky. but it is Under the Iron Sky. There is a really beautiful edition of this that I've pre-ordered that is an indie exclusive. So I've pre-ordered mine from the Mysterious Bookcase because they do online orders, but I'm sure there's other indie bookstores out there that would do it. It is a really, really gorgeous edition. I don't think I've seen... Oh, I've seen one other, but I prefer the indie bookshop exclusive. So that's the one I pre-ordered just in case you're wondering. And this comes out in October in case you want to get your pre-order in. And last but not least is again a book that has like slowly been crawling up my interest. I heard about this and it sounds like a bit of me, and then I just keep hearing more and more. This is Moth's Blood by Lindy Jung. This one is just straight up dark academia fantasy. I'm not sure if there's any romance in this one, but there is a comment on the back that describes it as sexy and sinister. The thing that has really, really piqued my interest about this is a French-inspired world. I don't know if it's set in actual France with some kind of fantasy twist or if it is just French-inspired. This also has a comparison to Blood Over Brighthaven, which is one of my favourite kind of dark academia fantasy titles just ever. That book is an absolute masterpiece, the easiest 6 stars I've ever given in my life. This is set in actual Paris. Step into the heart of Paris with a lush and thrilling dark academia. Look, I want to... Oh, and it also has alchemist main characters. I was talking about this the other day. Anytime there's an alchemist, and I think it's because of my love of Blood and Steel, sold. Love an alchemist, love a poisoner, love anyone that can kind of like run around clinking with potion bottles, especially if it has that kind of library, gritty, gloomy, dark academia atmosphere. You can tell all the books I'm excited for the end of this year are all of my like autumnal TBR. This one looks absolutely perfect for like the creepy, spooky, dark academia season. I don't know if this is a standalone. Let me know if it is. I absolutely adore a dark academia standalone. I mean, I like a standalone of any genre, but specifically dark academia. I don't know why. I think because it's a one and done and I can read it, really get into my dark academia feels and then kind of like move on to something else. And I've seen a couple early reviews of this and I'm hearing absolutely incredible things. I'm sorry if I'm blinding with this. It is so shiny. I've also just read there's a cult in this one. I don't know what it is. Maybe 2026 is the year of cult fantasy. I'm kind of here for it. I have a feeling this is going to be brimming with that kind of secret society-esque academia thrill that we all know and love. It also has a comparison to Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which I did really enjoy. I think probably because of the academia secret societies vibe of this. I can definitely feel coming on a dark academia Rex for autumn 2026 coming soon. I'm full of them. I'm full of dark academia Rex. It's one of my absolute favourite things to read. And this one looks like it's going to be a fantastic one. So that is 8, I think, of my most anticipated book releases for the rest of 2026. There has been some absolutely fantastic reads this year. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this has been the best year for particularly like fantasy and sci-fi releases in a long time. This year has been phenomenal. I don't know how I'm going to do this top 10 books of the year at the end of the year because I can already think of a top 10 now and I can't see any of them not being in there. So if we have to go like another 5 months, how am I going to do this, guys? I would love to know if any of these are on your list. Have you pre-ordered them? Are they highly anticipated releases for you too? Or if I didn't mention something that you were really excited about, maybe I just don't know about it. So please tell me in the comments so I can go and get it pre-ordered as well. There are definitely ones I've missed. Like I know there's new books coming out from the Twisted Sisters that I'm really excited about. There's definitely some new indie releases, but I've just pulled 8 that I had on hand that I'm really, really excited to dive into soon. But let me know what your most anticipated release of 2026 is in the comments below. But other than that, I will see you in the next one.